spent my whole damn life in the city. Anywhere I go, DC's coming with me. I spent my whole damn life in the city. I can go for broke, but the capital is in me. I spent my whole damn life in the city. Anywhere I go, DC's coming with me. I spent my whole damn life in the city. I can go for broke, but the capital is in me. I spent my whole damn life in the city.
Welcome, everyone, to District Divided, a DC sports podcast. More specifically, a Washington Commanders podcast. I am Amit. That is KDot. And this episode, the way too early predictions for 2024-2025 NFL season for our Washington Commanders. The schedule came out on Wednesday. And naturally, what we have to do, we have to pick all the games. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We're also going to talk about Dan Quinn wearing the shirt that has taken Twitter and social media by storm. Anytime you, by the way, click on any Commanders related tweet, there are about 28 links to buying that shirt. I'm sure you've all seen it. Steve Daines, senator for Montana, has talked about the name. So the name's back up, the logo's back up between those two. And then, of course, Jayden Daniels started throwing a football. We got rookie minicamp, OTAs. He's thrown to the rookies. He's thrown to the vets. We're going to get into all of that. Comment mailbag, as we always do after the pod. But before we begin this episode, if you could please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment as you always do. Got a nice comment mailbag today. And KDot,
share this shit. Share it. Yeah, I think I went long-winded last week. You know what to do, people. You know what to do. You know how to make me happy without touching me? It's just sharing it.
Share this shit, please. Please share this shit. We greatly appreciate that. I'll let that comment breathe. And without further ado, why don't we just go ahead and get into it. So the schedule, again, was released on Wednesday. And so this was for all the teams. There were some leaks here and there, but we finally got the full slate. And you're about to see it here in just a moment. Beginning with week 1 at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Then we've got the New York Giants at home. Monday Night Football at the Cincinnati Bengals. Then week 4 at the Arizona Cardinals, Cliff Kingsbury's old team. Week 5 against the Cleveland Browns. 6 at the Baltimore Ravens. 7 against the Panthers. 8 against the Bears. 2 number 1 picks back to back. Week 9 at the Giants, 10 against the Steelers, 11 at the Eagles, Thursday Night Football on that one. Week 12 against the Cowboys, Jayden's first chance to play against them. 13 against the Titans, a bye week on 14. A lot of people have bitched about it. I get it. I'm one of them. Week 15 at New Orleans, 16 at home to the Eagles, 17 at home to the Falcons. Will Penix be playing? Will Cousins be playing? Week 18 at the Cowboys. That is your slate, ladies and gentlemen. KDot, before we get into picking these games one at a time, what were your thoughts on the schedule?
Entertaining. It feels as though it's got a good balance all the way through. I kind of like the road games at the beginning of the season. It does seem like there's some winnable games depending on how it happens at the beginning of the season to kind of figure out what the course of the team's going to be. I know with looking at Washington over the course of last few years, knowing that we haven't really had an identity, maybe we can find that early and they can get better as the season goes on. But yeah, to me, it was like just looking through it, it didn't feel like there were any real lulls. Like I feel like I'm going to at least be entertained the entire season, which made me happy. Other than that, yeah, I mostly just schedule release time. I care about all the social media teams across the league and what it is that they do. And we had our cake video, which I don't think I liked as much as most people. Like there was the cake video.
I thought it was fine, to be totally honest. The Chargers, of course, did a great job with the Sims. The Titans, they figured out their template forever, where they can just ask people, they'll say whatever. And then they got the NFL and Fox music. That works for them. And then, we had the kick video, and I think we'll figure it out as we go, but it is a refreshing time.
Did you see the Saints?
The Saints I heard about, but I didn't see. What do they do?
They just had songs that remind them of whatever their opponent is. And when the Browns came up, they played Kendrick. Where he's alluding to Buck has got to wear it case-wise year round.
Well, then you got to hand it to the Saints. That's good. That's good. Well, why don't we go ahead and get into...
I hope I didn't fuck that up.
Actually, that's fine. Actually picking the games over here. So we are going to go ahead and begin with week 1. We are at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is a late kickoff. So that's a pretty exciting thing, KDot, right? It's a 4:25 kickoff. Week 1, we get to see the 1 p.m. games, and then it's our turn to play. At Tampa Bay, who do you have in this game?
I hate that it's a late kickoff. I hate 4 o'clock games. I fucking despise 4 o'clock games. I hate them. I hate them. I hate them. I'd rather get my thing out of the way, and then maybe the way the fancy football or anything else.
4 p.m. We rarely have it, so I'm
no, it's fair, but give us a dub to start the season off. You know,
Ooh.
I do think that there is something about hiring a new head coach. And you get that rise out of him. You get that added boost, at least initially. I think Washington's going to come out the gate, even though I know a lot of turnover. What they said, this team's got the most turnovers as any team since like World War II, which is nuts.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah.
But there is a vibe. And I know sometimes it's like mid-season sort of stuff, but when you got a Ron Rivera who's basically a zombie on the sidelines compared to the energy I'm seeing right now, I just think there's going to be I think they're going to have a lot of energy, and I'm giving us a dub.
Okay, cool. So KDot, you are giving a dub for the very first one. I'm also writing this down in the Excel sheet I have above in the other monitor. Just full disclosure for everybody. I have us losing this game. I would love to see us win this game. And we're going to circle back at this and say what an important game it can end up being, because next we play the Giants. So that's going to be very, very interesting. But I do think these are the defending NFC South champions. Yes, it is a weak division, but they just re-signed Mike Evans. They just re-signed Baker Mayfield. They have their sort of core, if you will. Lost a tough one on the road to the Detroit Lions in the playoffs. I think it's a good team. So I'm going to go ahead and say they win their home opener against us. We start 0-1. KDot has us starting 1-0. Moving on to week 2 against the New York Giants. This is our home opener. KDot, this is the first time in a long time I feel we genuinely will have home field advantage as we have home games this season, which I'm very excited about.
Did you see? I know the game we haven't gotten to the game yet, but did you see the Emmanuel Forbes, Joey Porter?
I saw that they talked, but I didn't actually see what was said.
You're like, don't worry about it. We're gonna make sure your stadium is packed for you. I was like, oh, and Forbes just kind of like, yeah, like there's nothing you can say.
A lot of off-season work for Forbes on and off the field, man.
We got some other stuff to talk about when it came to Forbes too. Some news that came out today or yesterday. Another dub, 2-0 for your Washington Commanders.
Okay, 2-0.
Ass.
The Giants do suck. Here's the thing: these games are always tricky. It's hard for us to play against the Giants. Daniel Jones turns into a freak of nature against us. I do have us winning this one.
That injury, man. The Achilles injury for quarterbacks. People are saying it's written in stone. Like Rodgers is going to come back and he's going to be great. I'm telling you, when people start flying around your legs and stuff, it's a little dicey.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I agree with that. I do have us winning this game. I do think it's going to take the defense a little bit of time to get to where they need to, but I think they're going to be decent right off the bat with Dan Quinn and Joe Witt Jr. leading the way for them in terms of teaching them so that they don't have to think they can just go. And I think against the New York Giants, they've always done a very good job, at least in their time with Dallas. I think we get to see that. I think Jayden gets a comfortable game. The more we hear about Jayden, and we'll get to it with rookie minicamp and OTAs, the more I'm like, he's going to start week 1.
That was going to be my next question. Well, my question to you, are we 1-1 in your schedule at Jayden Daniels as quarterback?
Yeah. So I'm making the assumption that Jayden is starting week 1.
Same here.
Yeah. So I think that's important for the audience because you and I both would prefer he's, slowly rolled out there. But
baby.
The more you hear, the more you realize he's just going to start. So I've got a victory over here. So I'm at 1-1. You're at 2-0, KDot. We then go to Cincinnati, Monday Night Football, LSU quarterbacks, Heisman Trophy winners going after it. Who do you have in this one?
We get the early mark of the game of the year under the lights, and Jayden does everything he possibly can do. But Joe Burrow says, son, I came before you, and you still got more to learn. The Commanders fall to 2-1.
Commanders fall to 2-1. I've got us losing this game. So, I mean, I'm not sure how close it's going to be totally honest. The thing is, this is where scheduling gets super interesting for me, KDot. Like, the first thought I had was this next set of games here is brutal. Beginning with the Bengals on Monday night. If you could get the Bengals later, First off, is Joe Burrow even going to be healthy later? That's one question. Second question, T. Higgins is on a franchise tag. If he's feeling even a little bit of that injury bug where he's like, oh man, this hurts a little bit, that hurts, maybe he doesn't play. Week 3, they're going to be fine. They're going to be playing. They're going to be good. I would have much rather played the Bengals later. This is where when you play or where you play, etc., does matter. But yeah, we're going to lose this game.
Don't the Bengals usually start off slow?
They do usually start off slow. I think this year they are essentially all in, right? Because they are choosing not to trade T. Higgins, right?
I mean, I get it, but they were all in last year. Like, it's like they just, I guess the Bengals.
I doubt. I would love for them to start slow. So they played New England and Kansas City to start the season. I see that being 1-1. It would be awesome if they lose under the lights at home. I just don't see it. I think you're playing a healthier team early, and we still will have our growing pains. So I have us 1-2 losing this game. We go over to week 4. We're on the road. It's a short week, right? We just played Monday night against the Cincinnati Bengals. We are now at the Arizona Cardinals, led by head coach Jonathan Gannon, former defensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles. KDot, who you like in this one?
3-1. Commanders. They win.
I think you're doing this right, to be totally honest. This is what way too early is all about. The optimism got us losing, though.
Oh, yeah. This will not, don't hold me to anything beyond today.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah. You know, I remember when I was in India and I was just seeing the board clearly.
Yeah.
Like where I was just like in the comment mailbag being like, 1, KDot, you're doing an awesome job. 2, I see it. So I've thought about making an India trip recently. And so therefore I'm seeing the board clearly right now. Hopefully that changes. So we're going to make our official picks in August with the entire NFL, offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year, MVP, all that
preseason has probably wrapped up. We'll do our next
because we'll get more info. I have us losing to the Arizona Cardinals. So that's going to put us at 1-3. I liked what I saw from the Cardinals last year. And I think you and I talked about it a little bit, establishing that culture. I think Gannon did that with his team. They were very tough to beat. Dallas lost to them early on over there. And so I think there's going to be something to Arizona this year. I think they're going to have a say in the NFC. I have us losing. Yep. 1-3. KDot's got us at 3-1 so far. We go over to the next game, week 5 against the Cleveland Browns. KDot, over to you.
I got to wear a case mask year round. But we're going to lose this game. The Browns defense is still pretty fucking sick. I'd love for this to be just an outright slug defensive fest where it's like Dan Quinn's defense is like, we are something. All right. We're something here in this league. Plus Deshaun Watson sucks ass.
He's not been good.
He
has never like turned it back around to old levels of Deshaun.
When has it ever happened? That was my entire thing when like, look, I'm not going to deny it. When Washington was sniffing around Deshaun Watson and his massage tables, I was like, I wouldn't mind doing that. The same thing with Russell Wilson. That's just because I'm quarterback hungry. Thank God. But yeah, there was no, like, it was going to be wishful thinking more than anything. Who starts at a high level, sucks, and then gets back to a high level? It doesn't happen.
Well, it was unique because he was not going through an injury. He was just suspended
for a very
long time. That's fair.
Just saying sucks.
And by the way, there are no takes we can hide from. It's all on video. If you guys want to peruse through the channel, it's all there. So you can go ahead and make fun of us for some of those takes. I was also like, hey, if he's cleared by the NFL and there's no wrongdoing, whatever, you go for it. I have us losing this game also. The Cleveland Browns defense is really, really good. So Deshaun won't even need to do that much. And we saw when Joe Flacco came in, that offense all of a sudden looked very good, right? So I think the Cleveland Browns are a very good football team. I have us at 1-4 through this point. KDot has us at 3-2. Then we go to Baltimore. KDot, go ahead.
It's another loss.
Yep. Not much to say on this one.
It's just another loss. I might try to go to this game. It's another loss.
Oh, it'd be great. Yeah. And so you now have us at 3-3. I have us at 1-5 at this point. But I want to point out this 4-week stretch, if we can grab one game, right, between at Cincinnati, at Arizona, at home to Cleveland, at Baltimore. If we can grab one, I actually think we're in a good spot as we continue to go through the schedule. If we can grab 2, oh my Lord, Like this place is going to go nuts because the schedule begins to open up. So let's go ahead and go to week 7, where we host the Carolina Panthers. KDot, go ahead.
Victory! Another win. What? I'm not keeping track where I'm at.
I'm keeping track for you. Don't worry.
So
4-3 right now.
4-3. Back to a winning record. Carolina sucks. David Tepper is just Dan Snyder with a costume on.
Yes. I thought about it for a moment, but yes, I think you're 100% right. He's very reactionary. Was he the one that was pouring beer on other fans when he was? Yeah, that was him, wasn't it?
And he's the one that went into the restaurant when they had the sign about the draft thing. Did you
yes.
see that at the bar?
And then, yep, I did.
I'm not kidding. David Tepper is literally Dan Snyder weaseling himself back in the league. Notice David Tepper's rise happens when Daniel Snyder starts shying away from public. Away from being in the public. Their rise and his fall just happened to be.
And we know how bad it is to have an owner like that. So I'm just thankful that it's not us anymore. Thank you.
It's not like that. It's him.
Gosh. Anyway,
with a
we're gonna win this game.
He's got the money.
We're gonna win this game. So that's going to put us. So KDot's got us at 4-3. I've got us at what is that? 2-5. Boy, oh boy. 2-5. 4-3. We go over to what I honestly thought should have been the Sunday night game. Week 1. I don't know how you don't make this right off the bat. Their first professional start is against each other. Number 1 overall, number 2 overall, especially with as much hype as Caleb Williams has gotten. I thought it'd be cool, but here we are. Get out. Who do you have in this game?
I don't think that narrative exists for anyone but you.
There are a lot of people.
I don't think that narrative exists for anyone but you. Like, no. I really don't.
Comment Mailbag.
There's no rivalry.
Back me up. Honestly,
there's no rivalry. It's not like they're like sometimes you go into it and it's like, oh shit, 1 and 2. There's really a conversation about this. Who's really gonna be the guy? Nobody's
this
looking
should have
at
been prime time. At minimum, this should have been prime time.
I just don't think anybody gave a shit. Like,
Caleb comes home. There are all sorts of narratives here.
Brother, you were trying hard. I'm talking about from a national perspective. No one cares about that.
Get out who wins.
It's not Luck versus RG3 or Rivers versus Manning. So ridiculous.
Who wins this game?
The Bears. I got the Bears and Caleb winning the game where we fall back down to 500.
Okay. I've got us winning this game. So Caleb comes home. I think anticipation is very high for this. Once again, home field. I think we actually have home field in this one, along with many, many others this year. That puts us at 3-1 at home. All right. The only home loss for me is against Cleveland so far.
You think we're still showing up with that losing record we got?
What's up? Oh, yeah.
According to you, we got a loser. Okay. No matter.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. No. Listen, tickets are selling. There's a lot of excitement. Even the RG3 year. Like, do you remember? Everyone was still there. Even though we were losing, we went through that one gap of losing. We were still enjoying a home field advantage, even at that time. It's a rookie quarterback, number 2 overall. They will continue to show up here. So I've got us at 3-5, and KDot has us at 4-4 through 8 games. Now we are at New York. KDot, what do you got?
Win. Sweep the Giants. Fuck them. They suck.
I want that to be the case so badly, but I've got us losing to New York. I just have us splitting. I don't know which way it's going to go. I think we're going to win that week 2 and lose week 9. We should, just to be 100% clear, we should sweep the fuck out of these guys. We should. But it's the NFL. Weird things happen. So I have us losing. KDot has us winning.
The only offensive player they got is Darren Waller, who fumbled Kelsey Plum. So
and Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors is going to be good. But that's true. That's a good point on the Kelsey Plum thing.
rookie wide receiver who's more the Tyreek Hill type, right? But usually for those guys to flourish, we can have someone else to take the attention off of them.
I don't think Malik's comp is going to be Tyreek Hill. He can do a lot. He can do a lot. I mean, just watching all the LSU games, like, when we were doing our quarterback stuff, Malik does it all. Like, this guy is really fucking good. I think he's going to end up being a lot more than just what Tyreek does, which is great.
It sounds very dismissive about what Tyreek does.
Well, I think what Tyreek does,
he's the best he's the best playmaker in the NFL.
He's not running every single route is sort of my point. I think Malik can, right? So, like, Miami, Mike McDaniel does a really good job of scheming these guys open, but it's often, and you'll see it break down about 4 to like 8 of the same routes. And I think Malik's going to be doing all sorts of stuff from all sorts of positions.
I don't think Neighbors is as good a route runner as you.
All right, fair enough. We will see what happens over there, but I've got a loss. KDot's got a win. Then we are at home to Pittsburgh, week 10. What do you have over here, KDot?
Victory.
Victory.
Pittsburgh home. I mean, they come to our house. Yeah, I maybe Fields works out. I don't know, quarterback situation, whatever. But it feels like one of those Steelers games you win before they go on whatever run they need to go on to finish around 500 and still make the playoffs. Shit.
Okay, so KDot, you have us at 6-4 right now. I have us losing this one. I think the Pittsburgh defense is really good. This is where the offensive line starts to scare me a little bit. We'll see if TJ Watt plays. His biggest thing has always been injury. When he's available, he's incredible. But will he be available for this game is huge. If TJ Watt is out, I think we win. If TJ Watt is in, I think we lose. I think it's that simple. Then we are at Philadelphia, Thursday Night Football, week 11. Who do you got?
Eagles.
I also have the Eagles in that one. Then we are at home to Dallas, also known as the Cow Bitches. Who do you have in this one, KDot?
Commanders.
I love it. I do too. And the reason I have the Commanders in this one, we get a little bit of help from the schedule gods, right? So it's a Thursday night game against Philadelphia. We get a mini bye. Meanwhile, they are going to be playing Houston on Monday night. So they have a short week. They are traveling. We have that mini bye. We are at home. So I think we end up winning that one. I think we would win it anyway, to be honest, but I think we get the additional help over there. So
Ezekiel Elliott's the running back one.
Yeah. Dallas has lost a lot this offseason. They've lost, and no one's talking about them losing Dan Quinn and Joe Witt. Yeah, exactly. A lot of it came to us. They haven't really added significant talent, in my opinion. Go ahead and see what happens over there, but I expect us to win that game. Then we're at home to Tennessee. KDot, who do you have?
I think the Cowboys win costs us dearly. We're pretty banged up, and we lose against the Titans.
Okay, fair enough. Well, that's rolling right into the bye. I have us winning that game. I think the Dallas victory starts a bit of a turn for the team where they go, we've done a whole lot of losing already. Now it's really time to get going. This is where the vet leadership comes in. So I have us winning. So we're at the bye week, and I have our record at, 5-8. And KDot has our record at 7-6 of the bye week. Love the art over there, KDot. Shout out in sync. Then we go ahead,
week to do the dance.
If only. Then we go over to week 15. We're at the New Orleans Saints. KDot, who do you have in this?
Saints.
I've got the Commanders in this one. So I think we come refreshed off the bye. And I think we continue that momentum moving forward. Okay, so now we are against the Philadelphia Eagles, this time at home, week 16. Who do you got?
Eagles.
Eagles. So you got the Eagles sweeping us.
Yes.
I have us winning this one. So that would be 4 wins in a row. Each time we've had a number 2 overall pick, we've started to cash momentum really, really late. Totally random, but I believe in the vibes. So we're going to go ahead and win that one. KDot, you already know my pick in this next one. Atlanta Falcons, week 17. We're at home. Who you got?
Commanders.
You know I do too, baby. So at this point, believe it or not, KDot and I both have 8 wins for the Commanders. So we're 8-8. We have very different ways of getting there, but we are 8-8. We are at Dallas, week 18. I got to say, KDot, I have the Cowboys at 8 wins at this point as well. Mm-hmm. So I think this may end up being a pretty huge game. This could end up being the Sunday night game for a 7 seed or something like that. Maybe even the division, depending on what happens with Philly. Who do you have in this?
So on all my sheets and everything I have beforehand, I have this as a loss. But because I don't really give a shit and no one can hold me to this anymore, I don't want the narrative to be the Cowboys win that game. So fuck them. Commanders victory.
Commanders victory, baby. I got it too. We're 9-8. We finish on fire. That is 6 wins in a row. This city's going nuts.
We're a little more topsy-turvy than I think.
And all of a sudden, are we the hottest team in the NFL? We might be. I don't know. I don't know. That's 6 wins in a row. And we're going to go and play, I don't know. Let's say Green Bay has a really nice year. We go to Lambeau with this squad. It would be incredible. So KDot and I have us way too early at 9-8. I have us overcoming a very, very tough beginning of the season. KDot has us starting strong, fading a little bit, but finishing with 2 wins to end the season. We both have us 9-8. KDot, your thoughts overall on finishing a season 9-8?
So I was thinking back to like what you just said a minute or so ago, which is that like even the last time that we had a second or quarterback, whatever, when we usually go on runs, they happen late.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say that we buck that trend because every time that it ever happened before was fucking false hope bullshit. My favorite team that I've ever watched as far as the Commanders is probably the 05 team.
Okay.
Then like 07, even though that was a tragic year. And both of those were runs, right? 5 in a row or we don't go. Yeah, I just think this season is going to be a little nutty. I think what ends up happening is that we're going to be one of those teams where I look throughout the course of the season, I don't see a single game in which I'm like, we're going to get blown out. I think that we're going to be one of those feisty teams that just end up losing some games that probably they should have won.
Mm-hmm.
And looked as far as being that upward trajectory next year. So I don't really look at it as far as in the sense of like trending one way or trending that way. They're going to be doing some things good. They're going to be mistakes that get made, but they're going to play hard as shit. And we'll always be in the conversation, kind of like Detroit before they went on their run, just with a better record.
Yeah, I actually completely agree with what you just said. So the idea behind this team this year, again, and we've said it many, many times on other shows, or other episodes, excuse me, this is just the one show, is establish the culture, right? Make sure that we are doing all the right things. I love, for example, there's that one moment where Sam Cosmi's talking about Bobby Wagner and his influence and how Wagner could tell just from where he was leaning that he was pulling, right? So like you're getting all these little things that are coming together for this team. And I just want us to play tough. That's why I think we can overcome a tough start to the season, is because I think it's much more about this team gelling together as the season progresses. This would not be the case in years past, where we start, what do I have us, 1-5? I think it would be just curtains and people are like, fuck it, let's mail it in. I know it's only week 7, but man, that's it. I don't see it with this group. And I think that gets proven with that win streak at the very end. Very excited to see how this goes. I don't see us getting blown out in any game, except if we were to get blown out, it would be one of the NFC North or AFC North teams, excuse me. So it'd either be at Cincinnati Monday night, which is a bit of a humbling, right, national audience, or it would be at Baltimore, let's say, just because they have a chip on their shoulder. They have something to prove as they continue, and they're always, always tough in the regular season. Any final thoughts before we move on to Dan Quinn, Steve Daines, and the name?
I will say that I don't want what I just went through to happen.
Explain.
In my grand scheme of things, Marcus Mariota is starting.
Okay.
We probably lose a few of these. Like you look at like the first 4 games, you lose against Cincinnati, you probably lose against Tampa Bay. The beginning of the season looks a lot closer to what it is that you're having, right? Then Cleveland and like it gets fucking ugly. I think the conversation starts happening as far as like, hey, Mariota's doing okay. It's not completely his fault, but do we need a spark? And that conversation begins around that Bears game where you got people like you trying to spin the narrative that people want to see that shit.
People do want to see that shit. Absolutely. It's objective.
Okay. So what I can see is like if in my like what I would love to see is Jayden getting his first start around Chicago, around New York. Week 8, week 9 to me would be awesome. Get like the Steelers and the Eagles, Cowboys. He kind of shows out, does some stuff, but we're still not winning games necessarily. Like I, in all honesty, as far as like true trajectory, what I would most want for this team long term, I'd love about a 6 or 7 win season. Marcus Mariota kind of loses some games at the beginning of the season, but the defense looks feisty as shit. And we're just like, holy shit, Jayden actually shows promise. He was really, really scrappy in that Eagles or Cowboys game. Like that's what I would love to see.
Well, okay, so to that point, I have us 1-5 to start, right? So we lose at Tampa Bay, we beat the Giants, we lose at Cincinnati, lose at Arizona, lose at home to Cleveland, lose at Baltimore, then we play Carolina. I think we do that with either one. So like if Mariota starts, we go 1-5. I'm not changing the Giants at home to a loss if Mariota plays. Like we should win that game. And that schedule starting is difficult. So if we go 1-5, you want the spark in week 6 again at home to Carolina and then at home to Chicago. Oh my Lord. I mean, that would be incredible.
I know, you got Jayden more as a savior than I do. That'd
be awesome.
I don't buy it fully, but all right.
Yeah.
It's not me down on Jayden. It's just me, rookie quarterback.
None of these picks, by the way, have been made because of or despite Jayden. I just want to be clear. Right. It's very much a team view. That's why the 1-5, I think, stays the same way it is. I don't view. It would be amazing if Jayden is that game changer immediately. We've talked about the ambitions behind him, the quiet confidence, him knowing CJ Stroud, wanting to outdo CJ Stroud, saying all the right things. It would be great if he were immediately that, but it's also an unrealistic expectation, which we've talked about over and over and over again. Right. So anyway, that concludes the schedule. And now we're going to go ahead and talk about Dan Quinn wearing the Commander's W, along with the couple feathers, the classic feathers that you see. KDot, great job on the artwork, by the way, on bringing that image together on the old helmet and logo, of course. So first question, KDot, is Dan Quinn wearing the shirt has caused a lot of people to think about the name. We won't get to Steve Daines just yet. Yeah. What were your thoughts on the shirt? What were your thoughts on the discourse around it?
So initially when I first saw it, I first saw it and nobody was talking about the shirt. The first time I saw it, it was just Dan Quinn standing at the podium. I'm like, dude, when did they start making those? That's kind of fucking cool. Like, I kind of want one of those. I kind of like the feather. It doesn't really make sense, feather on a W, but whatever. I kind of dig it. And then the flood gates just opened up and everybody's like, whoa, what's going on? And my initial in the first like day or so of discourse or first 12 hours of discourse was my first line of negativity in the Dan Quinn era. It was the first time I was giving him a mark in the sense of for the first time, we're talking about something that's not football again. And I don't love it. So the idea that like to know that the team is there giving you free shit to wear like constantly for you to find some Etsy store or something to go buy this thing. I'm like, please, Lord, please don't make this be a larger like political statement or some shit that you try to pull. Like, I'm just like, and I think that Del Rio's
back.
Right. That comes with like all the years of trauma and shit dealing with this fucking team. My initial gut reaction was like, fuck, no, it's all been about football. But that changed. That changed pretty quickly. And it especially changed after hearing Dan Quinn talk to the media afterwards. And I kind of understood where he was coming from. Oh, I do have the clip. I can play the clip.
Go ahead.
Taking this job, I was excited to bridge, the past and the present, and what a cool, privilege that is to do. And I also recognized there's a lot of layers to that. So it was a great lesson for me. And what I really hate is that any attention that we've been taken away from these rookies and like this awesome crew. So no one wants to do that, but great lesson.
Yeah, and shout out Scott Abraham for posting the clip on X. Please continue, KDot.
Yeah, to me it was like, I understand that. I get it. And the proof is in the pudding. Like when you see the pictures coming out of Ashburn and when you see what it is they've been doing with Darryl Green, when you see what they're doing as far as bringing in some of the Gash mold to really celebrate the history of the franchise, I understood. I got it. And I was like, you know what? Even when I was thinking or considering, and we'll get into the name and the logo and shit, like I thought like a feather would be an okay thing to still have, right? So like I thought that he tried to do it. He addresses it. He's like, yeah, it's a layered thing. It's a lot. But I think he went about it in the most respectful way he could possibly have gone about it with reaching into the past. And like, I love that he likes that because look, whatever my opinion is on the name or the original logo, I do love that what makes this team the team is the players that sacrificed and worked their asses off that we rooted for.
Right.
In our colors, and to know that the organization as a whole has been doing such a good job bringing those guys back in. I love the idea of bridging certain elements of our past into our future. Our past is extremely problematic as a franchise, no doubt, but there's certain. It's like I'm not taking everything. I'm taking certain things. If this fucker showed up and had a Redskins fucking shirt on, yeah, I'm gonna have a problem.
Yeah. Then all of a sudden, it feels like we're back just a few months ago, to be totally honest.
And I'm like, Raheem Morris, why didn't we sign him? Like, that's like I'm off of it. Like, I'm fucking pissed if that ends up being, if that was the case. But he went about it the most respectful way possible. He understands, and I don't think it'll ever be an issue on his part again. He realizes it. Everybody here in Washington, we talk about the journalists, we talk about how it's going to be a powder keg for all these different stories and stuff like that. I think he realized, okay, cool. I'm sorry. Never again.
Look, this is a unique job once again, right? So this is his second stint being a head coach. He talked about learning from his mistakes over in Atlanta, had a pretty strong start to his career as head coach with the Atlanta Falcons. And this is new, right? We just came from very poor ownership. We've had the name change. We've had all sorts of thoughts around it. It is political. For some people that I know, it is a racist name, right? And so like it depends on whom you speak to, of course. They are doing as much as they can to reconnect with as many fans as possible because this team has lost a lot of fans over the past few years. And so I get what they're trying to do. And it is, I think, well-intentioned. But ultimately, to Dan's credit, because he was very quick to go, you know what? I did not mean for this to take away from what the guys are doing, right? And how well Dave did. So I like how quickly it corrected itself because while the shirt admittedly is pretty cool, right? You see all the links for it and a lot of people really want to buy it. I do think it took away from the football and I'm glad we're right back on it. So that's my thought on the Dan Quinn shirt that he wore. Let's move over and talk about Steve Daines, who's a senator from Montana who had some words and I guess had the helmet there. Is that true, KDot? Go ahead.
Yeah, so I think people are conflating a lot of their own thought process or their own feelings about the name and everything like that. I know I'm going to speak for myself. I think I could probably speak to you as well. Fuck the Redskins name. It's never coming back. I don't want it back. I want nothing to do with it anymore. I'm over it. Fucking over it. I don't want to have the debates. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to do any of that shit. I see people on Twitter and everything that still have that level of discourse, whatever. Most of those motherfuckers are not people that I'm usually big fans of anyway. If you're in the comment section, you disagree, whatever, do your thing.
We can disagree. That's fine. Right. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I'm fucking over that part of it. But with Steve, and I think people are looking at Steve Daines. Steve Daines, senator from Montana, we all know that the bill is going through Congress right now that's going to give the ability for the city to take over this the RFK land site. And then from that, we can have maybe conversation negotiations with the team and with local government about what could happen at the site with the team potentially coming back. Which another reason the name's not coming back is the DC fucking government. That's a no. That's a hard fucking no if the name ever came back. But what Steve Daines is talking about specifically is that he is speaking as a representative for the family of, I believe it's Dan Wetzel. The Wetzel family, or Dan, was the one who created the initial Redskins logo, which is everybody knows, the stoic, brave chief. And the chief was modeled after, I think it was the second or third chief of the Blackfoot Nation or Blackfoot tribe. I maybe get some of this wrong, but it's a lot of information. He's saying that when they changed the name, I think Steve Daines is at a point where you hear him and you hear what some people think it's like he wants to bring everything back. That's not what he's saying. He's saying is that the Wetzel family and Blackfoot tribe would still like something that pays homage to the person that originally did the mascot, that originally did the logo and the artwork. He wants something that still does that. He does not want the name back. He loves Warriors. He said he loves Warriors. And if there was like the spear or the feathers or something to go back to that's just paid an homage to a certain degree about what it is without being offensive, could we have that conversation? And he's willing to hold up the bill until the Wetzel family feels good about what it is the team is doing in regard to that. Holding up the bill for this, yeah, it's a little grandstandy, it's some bullshit. But I mean, I'm over the whole name change and logo thing for the
Yeah.
most part.
Can I chime in at this
Yeah,
point?
please.
Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, if we start winning games, everyone's gonna love Commanders. This is just the way it goes. It's new. Some people don't attach themselves to it. I get it. That's very natural. That's very human of you. That's fine. If we start winning, if we win the division this year and we feel really good about our squad, you're gonna suddenly want to rebrand. Like, I just don't see it. Like, we already sort of have, in that we've got the new owner, we've got the new coach, we've got the number 2 overall pick. We like, if our guy is our guy, like, that is the rebrand. It's happened. It has nothing to do with the name. I don't care about the name. Commanders is fine. Like, it will end up being awesome if we end up playing really well. If we have a few shitty seasons, fine, rebrand. I don't give a shit. But I anticipate that this team is going to be good. Let's go ahead and focus on the football. Having done this podcast for a while, KDot, you and I are both probably exhausted about talking about this name stuff. That's clearly coming out for me right now. I'm fine with Commanders. Sincerely, I'm fine with it. I know the hashtag changed to Raise Hail because they kept the option open. I'm fine with them keeping the option open, but it doesn't mean that it needs to happen. Let's just go ahead and win some fucking games. And then if you really want to rediscuss after we've got a 12-win season or 13-win season a year or two from now, sure. If it means that much to you, fine. But I think you're going to end up being okay with the Commanders if we end up winning games. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much where I'm at with it too. I will say that I had this idea, and I wanted to ask you whether or not I think I'm being crazy.
Sure.
Is there any chance? I'm trying to pull up the tweets right now because I believe what's our guy's name? I think it was AJ Perez, who works for Front Office Sports.
He did a whole lot of the reporting actually around the sexual harassment claims and stuff back in the day. Yeah.
So he had like right now it's his Twitter feed is nothing but the Scotty fucking whatever.
Oh, Scotty Scheffler. Yeah.
Yeah. Thing that happened. Or white people care about the cops now. He fucking Louisville fucking bullshit. So from what I'm understanding, like I know the logo and everything isn't coming back. I think we can go through there.
Yeah.
But I have heard that there are representatives from Washington that are at least talking to Steve Daines, and they are in communication to at least some degree with the Wetzel family. Is there any chance Dan Quinn went out there to kind of test the market, to test the audience, to test what it is that people's reaction was to it, like to gauge whether or not they could look through the context of the conversation, right? And see if there are more people that are concerned about the name. Are there some people that just want like a little ode or an ode to the past to a certain degree? Like, what is it exactly? Just because I know that if you're looking at Josh Harris and these guys, they rely on information and data. And to me is like, if you want a good pulse of where everyone is right now on it and how much they even give a shit, Dan Quinn carefully summed it up. It's not really a story other than in some pockets of the fandom, right? And we talking about it right now. Could it have been?
Yeah, I actually think it. I think so. I think that this new ownership group, to me, has been quite calculated in how they do things. I don't think Dan Quinn woke up one day and was like, "You know, be sweet is if I wore this shirt." I'm willing to bet there were discussions around it because it would be kind of like, I don't think it's going to strike Dan Quinn to do this just solo and then not even get a greenlit by anybody. That too, right?
He's still walking around with it all day.
We've talked about aligned vision over and over and over again, and it's not just on the field; it's off the field stuff too. So whether it's Jason Wright that's a part of this, whether it's Josh Harris, even Adam Peters, I don't know, but I'm willing to bet that this was calculated to go. Almost a sentiment analysis. How do people feel about this? Right. And then from there, they can proceed however they choose to. You'd rather do this, honestly. You know, I'd rather they didn't do it at all. Fair enough. But like, you'd rather do this earlier than later. So if you're going to do it, this was the time to do it.
OTAs before training camp. Let's do this. We're done. We've already addressed this. Whatever's happened to Steve Daines or anything, it's not to do with what we're doing. We're over this. But at least we were able to collect the data that we need for if we're going to have a team or anybody working on it behind the scenes, they can do that shit undisturbed without rocking the fucking boat. It was just a thought. But I'm with you.
Yeah.
But I'd like, in the grand scheme of all of this, I don't want any of it to be a concern for anyone. I don't want anyone to be looking at this at all.
We are on the same page there. So why don't we go ahead and talk about the football now? Because that's what we want to do. So rookie minicamp occurs. It's 3 days. I think May 10th through May 12th. Very exciting times, of course. We finally see the rookies in Commanders uniforms with the W helmet. Exciting times. And then we have the OTAs where the vets come in also. And we get to see Jayden Daniels throw to Terry McLaurin as an example. We get to see Bobby Wagner, Frankie Louvu, those guys. Exciting times, KDot. What is your current feel on the team? Excitement level? The floor is yours.
Excitement level. You saw me go through the fucking calendar, the schedule. Yeah, I'm fairly excited. I told you this is the period of time that I kind of hate the. It's a hate love sort of thing because that hope starts trickling. But I think for the rookie, what I've been trying to do is keep it to things or little anecdotes or things that I like, and I leave it there without looking at grander context of anything else. So I think there are 3 things that I've seen happen so far in the last couple of weeks that I'm like, I like that. I like that. And I just leave it at that point. One you've already mentioned earlier, which was the Bobby Wagner, Sam Cosmi thing. That to me, as far as getting that veteran leadership and talking to those guys and the way they're already communicating. Cosmi sounded like he had a conversation he's never had in his life with somebody.
He hasn't.
Defense.
Guaranteed.
Like, what? So it's like, holy shit, these dudes are learning so much already. Like if Cosmi's been playing every game where he's telegraphing so easily that Bobby Wagner could call his ass out within a few days, they're like, maybe our offensive line isn't as bad as it was. Right? Like, so that's cool. I like hearing that. The second thing I loved hearing was when Jayden missed a throw and he was angry. Like they said he didn't let it go. Like he was really upset about not making it. Like apparently he did everything else fine. But there was this one.
The kid's a perfectionist. You gotta love it. Like I really think we got the right guy, KDot. Like he's great.
It was that was cool to hear. And also, just as a sidebar to that, seeing fucking Cliff Kingsbury, whatever hat and makeup he wants to have, just run around. Dude, you know, that transition to my third thing, which is I don't remember a time. I used to go to training camp every year. I used to actually get VIP passes to go to training camp. I got photos with Sean Taylor, all kinds of stuff. Like sat down and had lunch with Joe Gibbs, like really, really cool shit.
Yeah.
Joe Bugle was one of those guys that you saw people rally around. The offensive, the Hogs coach,
legend. Yeah, O-line coach.
But to see the videos like the rookies and they got the fucking logs and they're playing the music and the dudes are running back and forth and shit. And you see what Cliff Kingsbury's doing. You see Dan Quinn with his hat on backwards fucking getting in. We have a coaching staff that loves to teach and loves to get guys motivated and riled up. And I can't remember the last time I saw that. I can't remember the last time I really saw that without like maybe a little glimpse of it, but then it feels uncomfortable. You got Eric Bieniemy kind of yelling at people, but then the most off-putting thing to me the entirety of last year was when he's yelling at Terry McLaurin for standing up for his guy. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what is that? Or you look at other glimpses of training camp and it's Montez Sweat and Chase Young. They're the 2 guys leading everybody and all the rah stuff. Chase Young, who plays undisciplined as shit, right? It's like, where's the leadership coming from?
It's awesome. I mean, they're tapping into the emotional side of a sport that is run primarily on emotion. And they're also able to, you go back to Joe Witt's press conference. I keep going back to that. Even my drunk brain goes to that because it's so clear what he's saying. And he breaks it down for whomever the audience is. He knows he's speaking to media members, so he knows he needs to explain it differently than he would to a player. That immediately showed. And it's like, man, these guys love to teach, just as you're saying, KDot. I love it. Energy could not be higher right now for this team. And as we get into June, July, and the moment, oh my gosh, that first preseason game is going to hit like crack. Because we are now so invested in this team. We're going to know players 53, 54, 55, 56, all the way through 90, whatever it may be, and going, who's going to make this team? Who is fired up? Who's connecting with the coaching staff? Like, this is awesome stuff. I want to speak to Jayden real quick. Surprise, surprise. But a lot of media members, whatever clips you've seen, his accuracy is there. That was ball placement. We talked about it. And that flick of the wrist, it is just getting there quickly, man. I also want to say this in defense of the other rookie QBs. You do see some comparison videos between like Drake May and Jayden Daniels, JJ McCarthy, Jayden Daniels. Guys, day 1, day 2. I know you're excited about the pick, but like they are now on their teams. They are now going through their development. Let it go. Like that's my opinion on it, Kate. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
No, I mean,
it's fun to do, but like I don't read into it, please.
yeah, I don't give a shit about any of that because I mean, Jake Fromm left, and after Jake Fromm's gone, the only comparison I really give a shit about. We got the sexiest man in the NFL.
I knew it was coming the moment you said Jake Fromm. I was like, here it comes.
Love you, Jake. Bye, Jake. Hi, Jake. Bye, Jake. It's Hartman time, baby. It's Hartman time. Hey, yo, there was some zip coming off his ball, man. There was some zip. Some zip.
Not a bad, more than just an eye candy signing, as it turns out. Although I still maintain that one of the reasons he was signed was to take eyes off of Jayden and let him cook, man. Why don't we go ahead and go over to the comment mailbag, as we always do. Oh, I haven't seen this before. Appreciate this, KDot. Look, shout out KDot real quick because he puts in a lot of work to make these visuals work, and it is working.
I don't know if anyone's going to be able to actually read the comments that I created to put here on the bottom.
No, it's way too small.
Yeah,
but we'll see. Hey, once I put it on the full screen, I currently don't have it on the full screen. We'll see if we can. Why don't we go ahead, because we're talking about KDot, and begin with the latest comment, which comes from Blood Clot. Shout out Blood Clot. OG. That Sam Hartman clip is gold. Absolutely loves it.
Glad I was just playing it for you, buddy.
Play one more time for him. Go ahead.
Oh, I can do that.
Every time, man. Every time. It is so good. We appreciate the comment as always, Blood Clot. We then go over to Tony. Shout out, Tony. Visuals. I'm a visual learner. Love it. People love the new platform here, KDot. So once again, kudos to you. Absolutely killing it. Now you got to do the ones that keep you both in the screen with the visuals. Okay. So that's the next challenge. Is you are still able to see us while seeing these visuals. Okay. We'll see if KDot can do it, because I certainly cannot. He does answer, because he had mentioned being in Europe playing rugby, having some drinks, no excuses, in reference to A-Train messing up his toe there. I'm in the Air Force and lived in Ramstein, Germany. Ramstein? I don't know. Ramstein, Germany, 4 years.
Sorry, I was testing something.
I was like, what are you doing?
I'm sorry.
What? Jesus. You know what? That's my fault. I gave too many kudos. Now this guy's got a big head. He's going all over the fucking place.
Wait, I was like, can I do that?
Nothing like doing it live, baby. I'm in the Air Force and lived in Ramstein, Germany 4 years. Played rugby 2 years with the locals military club while there. Appreciate the info and comment there, Tone. OG. Appreciate that. And again, shout out that, you know what? We've already complimented KDot enough. We're going to move on. Otherwise, he'll just start doing crazy shit. We go over. You know what? Tony's got another comment. So why don't we go back to back with him? Did y'all realize we've only drafted 6 first-round QBs in the last 30 years? In the last 30 years. Okay. So I'll take us back to 94 now. The ones that immediately come to mind are Patrick Ramsey.
Love that dude.
Jason Campbell.
Fuck him over.
RG3. Of course, Jayden. Then we got 5 and 6. Heath
Haskins.
Schuler. Is that sounding? Oh, Haskins, of course. Rest in peace.
And Heath Schuler was the one in 94.
94. Yeah. Okay. So those are the 6. Wow. I mean, I don't think you want to be drafting 6 in 30 years. It's one in every 5 years. That's not good. That's not good. Hopefully Jayden bucks the trend here.
The Green Bay Packers drafted 2
in that same round. In that same
time. Had 30-something years of Hall of Fame quarterback play.
Yeah. So let's hopefully get there. Let's go over to Milton Dorsey. Shout out Milton Dorsey. I am surprised that Tressway was willing to give up his number 5. Tressway, you are a class act. Appreciate that comment over there, Milton. And then Zachary Minor, who was in the comments a little bit, was I think Zachary has his own. Yeah. Okay, cool. We're gonna get to that in just a moment. But basically, he was like, "Of course he should." Like it's quarterback versus punter. So we'll get to that comment right now. But appreciate the comment there, Milton Dorsey. Here's Zachary Minor. Comparing a punter to a quarterback is stupid, all caps. Daniels deserves number 5. Respect to Trey, but he's not the face and future of this franchise. Nobody wasn't buying number 5 when he had it. They will buy it now. Jayden Daniels belongs to number 5. It's not even that number 5 belongs to Jayden Daniels. It's that Jayden Daniels belongs to the number 5. Your reaction, KDot.
So last episode, I was careful not to say what my opinion was.
I've just figured out who your burner is. Go ahead.
Look, man, I go back and forth with the whole number thing. Like, to me, it's like, all right, do you weigh like veterans over rookies? Does this matter? Does that matter? I always felt uncomfortable to a certain degree that like people paid for it. I felt like there should be more of a, if you're gonna have to pay for it, maybe there should be a rubric or at least some sort of framework that the league has in it. So like, depending on where your jersey sales numbers are, this, that, and the other, like you could come up with a number that the number itself is worth. And if they could do that, then I'd be all good for it. But I also, what I did was I was looking back through some District Divided archives the other night. And back when we were doing the pod with 5 or 6 guys, depending on the day.
What a throwback.
It was the first time that we were rolling out our hot take segment. And my hot take was that kicking should be eliminated from football.
I remember that.
So I still think that. I love Tress Way. But if it were up to me, he wouldn't be working for us. So like, yeah, I prioritize one position over the other. No doubt. Well, you know, I think I'm not even gonna say that. If it were up to me, the position itself wouldn't exist because it does exist. It is extremely important. I just wish there was more of a cut and dry, black and white way of handling it. Mm-hmm. I do think that with all things considered, they handled an amazing way between themselves.
I completely agree with that. It's tricky because I think in most situations there is that hierarchy, and I think it's very clear, right? Quarterback and many, many other positions. Punter's probably at the bottom, to be totally honest. You know, punter and kicker. I get it. However, this was a unique situation because of how excellent Tressway has been for us. Do you want your punter to be that excellent? That means he's punting a whole lot? No, ideally you don't. But the reality is he is that dude. He does mean a lot to us. He's genuinely awesome. People have Tressway jerseys, by the way, more than you would think. We probably have the most punter jerseys in the NFL, this franchise, with Tressway. So, and he's going to be captain for the 5th time, right? Like it is a unique situation here. This isn't if we didn't know who Tressway was, we'd be like, yeah, this isn't a conversation similar to what Keyshawn said. It's my number. Like, come on. This is different because we have massive respect for Tress and who he is. So I just wanted to point that out. I want to go back to one comment that we missed in the previous comment mailbag. So what happens, KDot, is if I reply to a comment, it ends up disappearing because it's no longer considered new. So I want to go back to a comment from Samuel Anderson because this was a really good one. We were talking about the Brandon Coleman pick a while back, and I was saying that he played more guard than tackle. And Samuel Anderson corrects that. Coleman actually played more left tackle than guard. Yeah. In fact, he had a total of 1,036 snaps and only gave up 3 sacks during his college career. He also had the 5th fastest 40 time amongst all offensive linemen in college. So I just wanted to point that out. Sam, I apologize. We did not mean to miss that. It just automatically filters out. When I
knew that. I'm sorry that I didn't catch you saying that. It means I'm not listening to my co-host as well.
So we replied, which understood, which we replied saying you were correct. Thank you for the correction. 22 starts at left tackle versus just the 12 starts at left guard. So just wanted to say that.
They just thought he projected better to guard than it was tackle.
I think that's where I was coming from with that one. Is that exactly? NFL scouts go more of a guard than tackle. And then I probably just mix those up. So apologies, Samuel. Thank you for the comment over there. And then we go over to the last one, which is, I just want to make sure it is the last one because now I don't want to miss any. Patriot Clips. Shout out Patriot Clips, who's also an OG at this point. Patriot Clips.
Yeah, no doubt at this point.
Has been here for quite some time. Shout out. Love the channel, fellas. All you guys have to do to grow from 900 subscribers to 5K is put out some short videos where the Commanders have breaking news. an injury, a trade, a cut. Put out a quick 5-minute breakdown of it with a nice thumbnail, and you will double your subscribers in 12 hours. Once you get to 5K, your regular content will be shared tenfold. Patriot Clips, I thoroughly appreciate the comment. KDot, people want us to succeed. I think Patriot Clips is right. I think you and I, as soon as something happens, I need to text you or you need to text me, and we just need to quickly. Oh, Siri's starting to chime in over here. Please stop. Please go away. Okay, cool. We're good now. Great idea, Patriot Clips. Thoroughly appreciate that. What do you think, KDot?
No, he's dead on. We've talked about this, right? The only thing is that, which is one of the reasons we're now on this particular platform, is that with this particular platform, the upload speeds and everything that we used to have to contend with are nowhere near what it is. It wasn't like they were long, but the idea of being able to hop on here really quickly to do something without having to edit too much, and even on a shorts or a clip standpoint, we can do that a lot easier from a vertical view standpoint with what it is we have currently now, too.
Right.
So we're moving towards that. We're trying to streamline the process because we want it to grow. I'd like some more changes to kind of happen as far as logos and stuff. But Amit's running the show, and
it is our show. I've said that many times,
which is why I'll just drop passive aggressive things in those little comments here on the comment mailbag thing that he can't read.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Zachary Bider. This was the show. This was District Divided, a DC sports podcast, more specifically, a Washington Commanders podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. I am Amit. That is KDot. If you enjoyed today's episode, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment as you always do, and KDot,
share this shit.
Share it, please. We would greatly appreciate that. And Patriot Clips, shout out again. We really appreciate you being invested in the channel's growth. I know you all are. Thoroughly appreciate it. And thanks for joining us as always. And please drop in the comment mailbag your predictions for the season. Way too early. That's the beauty of it. KDot and I had us going 9-8. We may end up having that come there. Someone drop a 17-0 in there and explain it. Just have some fun. Just have some fun with it. After the pod begins right now. All righty. KDot, I needed to bring more energy into today's show, and I recognize that. The NBA playoffs have taken all my headspace. It has been so fun watching these games. Oh my God. I had a quad strain for a little while, so I was missing soccer. And so I was like, well, okay, better now than in like July when it's just baseball on. So I have been like fucking balls deep into the NBA playoffs. It's been incredible. The basketball's been awesome. You see every basket matters because compared to the NBA regular season, these scoring totals are way down. It's been a blast to watch so far. I don't know if you've been watching the games as well, but it's been great.
Slight mini rant.
Here we go.
So, yes, I've been watching. Actually, to the detriment of my therapist and psychiatrist, I've been watching. So I've been struggling with a few things mental health wise over the last few months. And one of them has been lack of sleep. I have insomnia and everything because my anxiety levels reach. So they have me on medicine to go to sleep. The problem is these games sometimes don't start until 10:30 at night.
Yep.
And I refuse to miss them. So I do therapy twice a week. And at the beginning of every therapy session, she gives me a list of questions and I have to grade myself on a scale of 1 to 5. And she asked me how's sleep doing. And I'm like, I was like, it ranges. She's like, what was last night? I'm like, a 1. I was like, what? It was like, yeah, I didn't take the meds because I was trying to watch the Nuggets game. She's like,
gotta understand that.
It's constantly self-inflicted shit. She's like, well, can you at least commit that if it looks like it's going to be a blowout, you'll take your meds in the second quarter?
Second quarter?
I was like, no. I'm like, you can go on a run. Like, how am I supposed to know? You can go on a run.
Yeah.
There's that. So, yeah, I've been watching it. Actually, the last 3 weeks have been nothing but beef and basketball in this guy's brain. Okay?
It's honestly been awesome.
Dude, last night, Billie Eilish dropped an album. I was fucking listening to that while watching because the game, I have a lot of basketball thoughts because Anthony Edwards is my favorite player in the NBA. It's him and Jimmy Butler, the two guys that always people think are Jordan's offspring. But those are my two guys. After I saw the movie Hustle, he catapulted number 1.
Incredible performance in Hustle.
But I will say about basketball, but not directly. Number one, if NBC does get NBA and we lose out on Inside the NBA, fuck everyone.
I agree.
That is ridiculous. Do whatever it is you need to do contractually or otherwise to make sure that Ernie can still come to fucking NBC and record if need be, or you guys record it. Make some fucking exceptions, assholes. Do not have us lose this goddamn show. The second point is fuck the NBA and fuck all these goddamn channels. Look, I cut the fucking cord from cable, okay? I pay ungodly amounts of fucking money to all these fucking streaming services, including Disney. I have Hulu. I have fucking Disney. I have ESPN Plus, you fucking assholes. Why the fuck am I online last night trying to find an illegal fucking stream to the goddamn game because you won't let me watch the bitch unless I pay for fucking ESPN on cable? You cocksuckers. What the fuck? Like, TNT, thank you. H Games or HBO Max, I'm good to fucking go. I pay you already. Why?
For the record, I'm 100% on your side, and that could be a rant to the NFL too, because we are now going to be seeing games on Amazon Prime, on Peacock, Netflix just got games. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Like it is nuts. It is nuts. We went from cutting the cord.
Cable.
Well, that's the point. We went from cutting the cord because you could get a couple streaming services for cheaper. It was like, all right, cool. I get the shows I want to watch. I get some of the sports I want to watch. And now the end result is back to cable, essentially, which is just insane, except it's going to cost more right now.
Oh, it's already done. So, like,
yeah.
But the thing specifically last night that really made me angry. It has made me angry over these playoffs. ESPN, you are owned by Disney.
Yes.
You own Hulu. You are ESPN. I pay for ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus. I pay you directly already. I pay you.
I agree. ESPN should be on ESPN Plus. I don't know how it's not included.
You can't even show it on fucking ABC for me, you cocksucks. Like, what? You own all of it, and I still need to charge that. And then the other thing, you want me to pay for YouTube TV or one of these other motherfucking things, which are delayed anyway. If you have any betting app whatsoever, you can't be on it.
You have to wait for the first commercial. Like, dude, literally, and if you bet by commercial too, it's locked again because the game's still on and you're a minute behind. I'm on your side here. We are the people.
Fuck this up.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone agrees. No one's going to be like, I personally love all the streaming services. It is so much fun to have to bounce around from app to app, be on delays sometimes. It's insane.
I honestly don't mind it. I don't mind that.
Absolutely mind.
I don't mind it.
It's ridiculous.
But if I already pay you almost $30 a month, what the fuck do I have ESPN Plus for if I can't watch the goddamn game?
Well, you get to see the FA Cup.
You want me to watch fucking ESPN Ocho? Is that what I'm going to fucking watch? Like, what is wrong with you? Like,
it is insane.
I pay you.
I pay you. So yeah, anyone that's at ESPN watching this, please fix it. Okay. We are now against the hard stop, so we got to go. But the NBA playoffs have been awesome if you can find it. And until then, we will see you guys next week, Friday, 2 p.m. Or maybe if some breaking news happens sooner than that. So shout out Patriot Clips one more time. I meant to mention it earlier in the show. Damiere Byrd signing, Jake Fromm being released. We touched on Fromm being released because Sam Hartman, we get to play the clip. That is now 2 or 3 episodes in a row where we've played that clip at least twice. I don't see that slowing down, to be totally honest. I think it's going to end up being a staple of the show. So, and shout out Scott Abraham one more time for that clip. We appreciate it. We will see you guys later. Until then, take it easy.
Fuck you, Mickey.